yesterday's class we have dealt with the Krebs cycle. The products formed in the Krebs cycle are NADH and FADH. Now those products are being used in the electron transport chain for the formation of water and formation of ATP. There is synthesis of water and synthesis of ATP through a set of electron carriers that are present in the membrane of the mitochondria. Already we have studied in the Krebs cycle that the pyruvate, the product of glycolysis, enters into the mitochondria. The mitochondria matrix has the enzymes where it produces many intermediate products and it forms the two main components NADH2 and FADH2. So those products are being used for the formation of water and synthesis of ATP, and this process occurs with the oxidation of NADH and FADH. So it is termed as oxidative or terminal oxidation. The end product, that is at the end of that, the NADH are being oxidized with the release of water and ATP. There is synthesis of ATP. So the product here. So first we will try to understand the figure that is being given in the NCERT textbook. Already we have studied the structure of the mitochondria. Yes. So in order to understand the electron transport chain, the process involved in it, let us recollect the structure of the mitochondria. So the mitochondria is a double membrane organelle with outer membrane and inner membrane. So this is a mitochondria, double membrane organ which is the outer membrane, while the inner membrane has the infoldings. It is having the inner foldings. Those are known as cristae, and on the surface of the cristae there are oxysomes which are embedded in the membrane. Now this particular reaction here, this is the matrix, while this is the outer membrane and this is intermembrane space. And the reaction, this particular electron transport chain occurs in the intermembrane space. Krebs cycle occurs in the matrix. The products of the Krebs cycle, that is NADH and FADH, from the matrix passes the electrons and the protons into the intermembrane space. So in this membrane space, there is a movement of electrons with the help of protein complexes. So this, as the electrons are moving from one complex to another complex, so only it is named as electron transport chain. There is movement of the electrons from one protein complex to another protein complex. So as the electrons are transported, this reaction is called as electron transport chain. So here in this electron transport chain processes, there are 5 complexes. Yes, according to the new NCERT figure, the complexes go through the figure properly. Try to understand the concept. These are the protein complexes which are being involved in the electron transport membrane, electron transport chain, where they are present in the intermembrane space. So first we will go with the complexes. What are those complexes? In this process, 5 complexes are being involved. First is complex 1, that is nothing but NADH dehydrogenase. First complex is NADH dehydrogenase. Why? The second complex is succinate dehydrogenase. Yes, so in the membrane, if you recollect the fluid mosaic model, yes, so if for a rough or to make you clear, the membrane is having the, hope you understand the process. This is the membrane or the plasma membrane of the mitochondria. One side, this is one side, the matrix. So in this matrix or in the membrane there are 5 complexes. So here the complex 2 is succinate dehydrogenase, while complex 3 is cytochrome BC and complex 4 is cytochrome oxidase, and the 5th complex is ATP synthetase. So it is having, or it has 5 complexes. That complex 1 NADH dehydrogenase, complex 2 succinate dehydrogenase, complex 4 cytochrome oxidase, and complex 5 ATP synthetase. Then you will come to know about across some another familiar words like FMN, ferrous sulfate, quinone, ubiquinone, cytochrome complex. Yes, these are all the coenzymes that help in transport of the electrons. Yes, FMN is flavin mononucleotide, FES is ferrous sulfate, UQ is quinone, but when it receives the protons and the electrons, it is known as ubiquinone. While cytochrome C complex, again this is FAD, flavin adenosine diphosphate, ferrous. Then there are 2 copper centers with cytochrome A and cytochrome A3. So these are all the coenzymes that are present in the interior or in the membrane space of the mitochondria. Yes, while you can find another peculiar protein complex, that is cytochrome C on the outer membrane. So this all are there. Cytochrome C is present on the outer side of the membrane, which is a mobile carrier. That means it can shift its position from one to the other. Yes, it has the ability to shift itself or to move from one to the other and carry the electrons. So the 5 complexes, and these are all the coenzymes that are being involved in the process. So I will repeat once again what are the complexes. Complex 1 is NADH dehydrogenase, complex 2 is succinate dehydrogenase, complex 3 is cytochrome BC, complex 4 is cytochrome C oxidase, and the very important complex 5 is ATP synthetase. Yes, and these are all the coenzymes that are present in the membrane, which help to pass the protons and the electrons. Right, this part is the matrix part. Let us consider it as A, or the matrix part, let us consider it as A, while the other side, it is the inner membrane space, let us consider as B. Yes, so hope you understand that this side of the membrane is the matrix and the other side is the intermembrane space. In between there are the protein complexes. So here by the end of Krebs cycle, FAD and NADH are being synthesized. These are being used for protons for the formation of water and ATP. So in the matrix, the NADH and FADH get oxidized. When it gets oxidized, it releases the electrons. The electrons are being released. So try to understand the process, very stepwise process. In the first step, complex 1 is involved. In this complex 1, with the help of NADH dehydrogenase, the NADH get oxidized, releases both protons and the electrons. So it releases the protons and the electrons. Yes, the protons and the electrons pass through FMN enzyme, coenzyme, that is flavin mononucleotide, and then to ferrous sulfate, while the protons are pushed into the, or they are pumped into the intermembrane space. So by complex 1, 4 protons are being pumped into the intermembrane space, while the electrons pass to quinone. After, with the help of these electrons, it is converted into ubiquinone and passes the electrons to cytochrome B, which is a part of complex 3. Yes, here in the NCERT textbook, the complexes are not placed in the serial order. Yes, so after complex 1, it is complex 2. So what happens in the first reaction is, when NADH get oxidized, they release the protons and the electrons. Protons and the electrons pass through this first complex, where it contains the enzymes coenzymes FMN and ferrous sulfate, while the protons are pumped into the inner membrane space, and these electrons are accepted by quinone. The quinone passes the electrons to form ubiquinone, and again passes the electrons to the third complex, that is cytochrome B. Yes, so this is the first process or the first reaction. Then what happens? Second is, as electrons reach to the third complex, that is cytochrome B, electrons move to ferrous sulfate. From ferrous sulfate, electrons move to cytochrome C1. Yes, they are moved to cytochrome C1, and the electrons from the cytochrome, again here electrons pass to the next molecule, while the protons are pumped into the intermembrane space. Yes, so in the second reaction, where third complex is being involved, again the electrons and the protons. Remember that the electrons are being passed from one protein complex to another protein complex, while the protons are pumped to the intermembrane space. So here, after the first reaction, in third complex, that is the third complex, cytochrome BC, when electrons are passed to cytochrome B, then it is passed to ferrous sulfate. From ferrous sulfate, it is passed to cytochrome C1. Yes, cytochrome C1. Then here I said that the outer membrane, there is another complex, that is the coenzyme, the complex known as cytochrome C. After receiving the electron, it passes the electron. It is mobile. As I said, it is a mobile carrier. It can move or shift its position. It shifts its position There is succinate dehydrogenase, where succinate is converted into fumarate, again releases the electrons. These electrons pass from FAD, that is flavin adenosine diphosphate, to ferrous sulfate, and again from ferrous sulfate electrons move to quinone, which becomes ubiquinone and passes the electrons to cytochrome B. Simultaneously, we can say that complex 3 receives the electrons from both the sides, that is from complex 3 and complex 1. Yes, I repeat the process. Simultaneously, what happens is the succinate, when succinate is converted into fumarate, the electrons pass to FAD and ferrous sulfate, then electrons pass to quinone, which becomes ubiquinone, and the electrons move to the cytochrome B. From cytochrome B, it passes to ferrous sulfate, from ferrous sulfate to cytochrome C1, which passes the electrons to cytochrome C, which is mobile, and it moves or shifts its position from complex 3 to complex 4. So, complex 3 receives the electrons by both the complexes, that is complex 1 and complex 2. Yes? In the next process, when cytochrome is being shifted, yes, this cytochrome C passes the electron, and this fourth complex, that is cytochrome C oxidase, have two copper centers which are named as CuA, or you can name it as Cu capital letter A or capital letter small letter a. Then it contains cytochrome A and cytochrome A3. The fourth complex, that is cytochrome C oxidase, have the two copper centers, yes, along with cytochrome A and cytochrome A3. On passing the electrons, after the shifting of the position, the cytochrome passes the electron to the copper center A. Two copper centers are there. So, copper center A, which passes the electron to cytochrome A, then cytochrome A3 and cytochrome A, and the electrons are released into the matrix. On receiving the electrons, the oxygen combines with the protons with the formation of water. There is formation of the water, while the last electron acceptor is the oxygen. With the help of this electron, it is synthesizing the water, and the fourth complex is responsible for the formation of the water. Yes, so in that way, where there is movement of electrons and simultaneously the two protons are pumped outside, that is into the intermembrane space. Yes, so three reactions. Yes, all the three reactions with the help of the complexes. Then what happens lastly? So now what happens? All the protons that are being present, which are being released by the oxidation of NADH and FADH, they loses the protons. The protons get accumulated in the intermembrane space. So totally 10 protons accumulate in the intermembrane space. Now in the matrix, the number of protons are decreased. There is decrease in the number of protons in the matrix, while the number of protons in the intermembrane space is more. Then, in order to stabilize, as the protons are more accumulated in the intermembrane space, it develops the force, and that force is known as proton motive force. So inside the inner membrane, interior intermembrane space, it develops proton motive force due to the accumulation of protons. As NADH and FADH get oxidized, the protons are being released and electrons are being released. Electrons are used by the complexes by the coenzymes and pass the electrons, and the last electron acceptor is the oxygen, which uses this electron for the formation of the water. So if you take the process of respiration, the products of respiration, what happens? Where glucose get oxidized to release carbon dioxide and water with the release of energy. Already we have studied in the glycolysis that the respiratory substrate get oxidized to form pyruvic acid with the release of energy, where it is converted into the glucose get oxidized to form the pyruvic acid by the process of glycolysis. Then the pyruvic acid enters into the mitochondria. So here if you take the equation, what is the equation? Glucose combines with oxygen to produce carbon dioxide and water. Carbon dioxide, release of carbon dioxide, we have already studied in the Krebs cycle. Now here by this process there is release of water with the help of complex 4. So here the oxygen is the last electron acceptor and there is formation of the water. So glucose plus oxygen gives rise to carbon dioxide and water with the release of 36 ATP molecules, that is equivalent to 686 kilocalories of energy. So this process helps in the formation of water. Yes. Then lastly, as the concentration of protons increases in the intermembrane space, a pressure is being created or a force is being created and is known as proton motive force. So here the number of protons have to be equalized in both the outer and the inner membrane. It should be of equilibrium. In order to stabilize the protons and in order to maintain the equilibrium of the protons, the two protons, there is in one more complex known as complex 5, that is ATP synthetase, where it is having FO the base part and Fn the head part, which is facing towards the matrix. It is facing towards the matrix. So diagram of this is a cristae and this is the ATP synthetase, where base is attached to the membrane, while this is the head portion which is towards the matrix. So try to understand the figure properly. If you understand the figure, you will be able to understand even the reactions. So what happens here? The protons, the number of protons are more accumulated into the intermembrane space, by which it develops the force. So here the fifth complex, that is ATP synthetase, has the base and the F1, and among that totally 10 protons get collected. Due to the collection of more protons in the intermembrane space and very less protons in the matrix, again we can take the process of osmosis, that is movement of molecules from a region of higher concentration to the region of lower concentration. So the concentration of protons increases in the intermembrane space that have to be equalized or to be stabilized. For stabilization, what happens is some of the protons have to be pumped from the intermembrane space to the matrix, and that work is done by the ATP synthetase molecule. This complex, which is the fifth complex present in the membrane, helps in the formation, to carry the protons. So two protons pass from FO, that is it is based on the name of the scientist, from the base to the head portion of the ATP synthetase. With the help of these protons, adenosine diphosphate combines with inorganic phosphate and the product formed is ATP. So by transfer of the electrons, the ATP is synthesized, and this process occurs in the presence of oxygen. So only we call it as oxidative phosphorylation. Yes, so in this process, due to the protons help in the synthesis. Due to the oxidation of the NADH, the ATP is synthesized. So the process is called as oxidative phosphorylation. Yes, so the end in this electron transport system, we got water and ATP molecules. Yes, then what happens is the last process, that is the continuation of this process. Now these all reactions are the chain reactions. Glycolysis forms the pyruvic acid. Pyruvic acid enters the Krebs cycle. From the Krebs cycle, it enters, that occurs in the mitochondria. In the mitochondria, it is electron transport chain. The products are water and ATP molecules. Yes, and these products. Then the ATP, then this last process is terminal, that is a part of terminal oxidation, where the figure is in this form, where this lastly, there is the membrane has the base which is embedded in the, you can look to the diagram. So FO and this is F1. There is movement of the protons. With this movement, adenosine diphosphate combines with inorganic phosphate to form ATP. There is synthesis of ATP. So the expansion of the fifth complex is ATP synthetase, where there is formation, a strict formation of ATP molecules. The two protons are pumped into the matrix through ATP synthetase complex. When the protons pass through ATP synthetase molecule, that protons help to combine adenosine diphosphate with the inorganic phosphate, and thus there is synthesis of ATP molecules. So these all processes, glycolysis, Krebs cycle, electron transport system, a part of terminal oxidation, and oxidative phosphorylation ultimately helps in the formation of ATP molecules. Yes, so here there is a complete process where the glucose molecule is being broken down in the presence of oxygen to form carbon water and release of energy. So in the respiration part, that is aerobic respiration, where the food substances get oxidized. So once again we will go with the fast recapitulation, or we can go with the processes what all happens immediately one after the other. I had given you all slow and perfect explanation of that. Now we will be little what stepwise process, how there is first stepwise process of electron transport. 5 complexes: complex 1, complex 3, complex 2, complex 4 and complex 5. Why? Don't get confused here. Complex 3 is placed between complex 1 and 2. Yes, and the very first reaction is, that is, it is reduction, oxidation of NADH and FADH. NADH get oxidized to form NAD. It produces the protons and the electrons, while the protons are pushed into the intermembrane space, while and the electrons pass from FMN, ferrous sulfate, quinone, from euquinone becomes ubiquinone and passes the electron to the complex 3, that is cytochrome B. From cytochrome B it passes the electrons to ferrous sulfate. From ferrous sulfate it passes to cytochrome C1. Then this passes the electron to cytochrome, which jumps or it shifts its position from complex 3 to complex 4. Then the electrons pass to the copper center A, cytochrome A3, one more copper, and the electrons move into the matrix where it combines. It helps to combine oxygen and ammonium oxygen with 2 protons with the formation of water, that is cytochrome C oxidase. Meanwhile, here succinate is converted into fumarate, also passes the electrons to FAD, ferrous sulfate, then quinone, which becomes ubiquinone and passes the electron to cytochrome B. Yes, then here due to the movement of the protons into the intermembrane space, more accumulation of protons in the intermembrane space, it develops a proton motive force. There is difference in the concentration of the protons, inner and outer side. So as proton motive force is being developed, the protons are pumped through this ATP synthetase. That here, this is the diagram to show the complex, the 5th complex. So here when the protons pass through FO, that is the base, and the headpiece of the ATP synthetase, ultimately it will lead to the formation of ATP. So this is the last reaction of the respiration, with the formation of many intermediate products and various enzymes are being formed. So the points that you have to remember is, there are 5 complexes in this, while the 3rd complex according to NCERT is being placed between the 1 and the 2 complex, and the complex 3 receives the electrons from both complex 1 and complex 3. So these are all the coenzymes which help in transferring of the electrons. As the electrons are being transported from one protein complex to another protein complex, it's named as electron transport chain. When they are moving from one complex to another complex, or the coenzymes, protein carriers, we can simply call them as protein carriers, ultimately this electron is accepted by the oxygen, which helps in the formation of water. What are the products? Carbon dioxide, glucose with oxygen to produce carbon dioxide and water. Carbon dioxide we have seen in the process of Krebs cycle, while formation of water we have seen in the electron transport system, and ultimately due to the pressure created by accumulation of protons in the inner intermembrane space, by that force the protons move through the ATP synthetase molecule. With the help of protons, adenosine diphosphate combines with inorganic phosphate and there is formation of ATP. So this is the overall reaction of electron transport system. So you have to remember is 5 complexes. In that, main is complex 5. Yes, complex 3 receives electrons from both the side, complex 1 and complex 2, and the last electron acceptor is the oxygen that helps in the formation of water. The water can be used or it is being released out from the cell. From the cell it can reach to the cytoplasm, or for further metabolic activities it can be used. And ultimately, as the protons get accumulated to stabilize, they are pumped again inside the matrix. During the process of pumping, there is synthesis of ATP. So in aerobic respiration, 4 processes where the food is oxidized. That oxidation of food has led to the formation of carbon dioxide, had led to the formation of water, and even there is release of ATP. ATP molecules are also being formed. So this is the last part of the respiration, that is aerobic respiration. So all this is the cellular respiration, where the process occurs in the cytoplasm and then in the mitochondria. Because of synthesis of ATP in the mitochondria, the mitochondria is known as the powerhouse of the cell. Why it is called as powerhouse of the cell? It contains the enzymes. With the help of those enzymes, it is synthesizing the energy. That energy is ATP. Because it is synthesizing the ATP molecules, it is known as a powerhouse of the cell. So overall, in the aerobic respiration, the 4 steps, the products obtained are carbon dioxide, water with the formation of ATP. So here we have ended the aerobic respiration occurring in the animals. Yes. So the next part are the other differences between, go with the differences between aerobic and anaerobic. So here also it's a 5 marks question. Explain electron transport system. Very simple. You remember all the complexes. Just try to remember the complexes. Then go with the movement of the electrons. So here electrons first complex. Then the electrons move to the 3rd complex. This 3rd complex also receives the electron from the 2nd complex. Ultimately the electrons pass to cytochrome. From cytochrome C, the electrons move to the complex 4, that is cytochrome C oxidase, and there is formation of water, while the protons that are accumulated in the intermembrane say are pushed or pumped into the matrix with the formation of ATP. Protons are pushed to the intermembrane space, while the electrons are passing to many coenzymes with the formation of water. So this is about the electron transport system with the formation of ATP molecules. Next class will deal with the other concept of the respiration.